you're feeling stuck, do you feel like there's an immovable object in front of you and you're just blocked? You can't break free. Or Levi, one of the hostages, did not believe in God before he was taken into Gaza. The place where he was first taken, he was there for many, many days. And he started talking to a crack in the wall. He was just talking to that crack to try to keep himself going. Eventually he was moved to a room where there was no crack, but there was a small LED light, and he started talking to the LED light. And then eventually he was moved into the tunnels where there was no light at all. Complete and total utter darkness. And that's where he looked up and started talking to God. And thank God he was freed. And he speaks beautifully of this journey, this internal journey that he went on. How he went from being a non-believer to someone who believes in the Almighty and has tremendous faith that's so inspiring. And sometimes this acquisition of faith or connection to God might come about in a most terrible circumstances, but it does come about in a step-by-step journey that's very deliberate and has to be methodical. And I think that perfectly captures the Torah portion in Abraham's journey. Our forefather Abraham, the first test that he receives from God, which perhaps is the hardest test, even harder than being thrown into a fiery furnace. The Torah says, Lech lecha. The Almighty tells him, go for yourself. And the words in the Torah is very specific, and the Almighty tells him, go for yourself. It's for your benefit to do this, even though it's very difficult. Lech lecha me'artzecha, from your land, umi moladetecha, from your birthplace, umi beit avicha, and your father's house. All of those are various ascending levels of attachment. Break free from your society, break free from your country's society and mores and attitudes, and break free, finally, the hardest thing perhaps, from your father's house, from the values by which you were raised. So difficult. And eventually, if you break free of all of those, you're able to turn yourself around. It is possible to make a revolutionary internal change, no matter what your background is. That's what Or teaches us. And Avram, who comes from one of the chief idolaters of his time, was able to do this. The Almighty says, but in order to do this, you have to be willing to break free and totally separate yourself. It'll be hard. It's a tremendous sacrifice, but it is possible. God willing, we should learn lessons from Or, from Avraham Avinu, from all the great Jews in history who broke free in order to become and actualize their potential and their Judaism. Shabbat Shalom.